After my last Enshrouded video, I got to reading some of the comments that came out, and a lot of them brought up some really good points, things that we would like to see in Enshrouded. Now, I've gone through and read just about every one of these and picked out the ones that I really think would be beneficial for the game as a whole, and these are the top requests from the community for the game Enshrouded for the year 2026. So one of the first items, and I cannot stress how important this is to have custom markers with names on the game. As it stands currently, all you can do is create a custom marker of something, whether it's a mineral, whether it's a wild animal, a farming spot for a plant, what have you. The problem is that all you can do is set down the marker and the color. You cannot change the name of it. Now, early on, this really isn't all that big of an issue because there's only so many resources that you'll be able to mess with. When you get into the later biomes, you have to know specifically the difference between, okay, for the Albany Summit where I've been messing around, is this coal? Is this silver? Is this obsidian? Is this iron? I mean, the idea of being able to move and change those custom markers, it blows my mind that this hasn't been implemented at any point. It seems like it should be a simple fix, right? Just a very simple, let me put in custom names that I could say, this is a great spot for farming wool or, something like that. I 100% agree with this. I think that we need to have custom markers in the game without a doubt. The next thing, and I do agree with this, and I've been kind of critical on this in the past for Enshrouded, but the combat customization needs to change. It really, really does. As it stands, there are a handful of fun playstyles, and don't get me wrong, like there are some that I very much enjoy. However, I would like to see more customization for this game as far as playable classes. Now, I know every time that they go through a major update, they add more skill points, as well as individual choices to change your gameplay a little bit more, but something that I would like to see is a pure necromancer class, like where you can summon undead minions based off of the minions that you kill. Okay, so you killed a spellcaster, now you get a spellcaster minion for a time. You killed a melee, you get a melee minion. I know that you already have the skeleton trait that is something that you can pick up where there's a chance that it'll summon an undead buddy, but having that little bit of customization right there, I think would be amazing. Another combat change that I would love to see is adding heavy attacks as well as dual wielding melee. I want there to be a skill somewhere probably in the berserker or the in between the warrior and the barbarian trait line for you to be kind of like a berserker where you can pick up two different melee weapons and use them, and then you can do like a riposte against a blocking an attack at the right time. Rather than a blocking of the damage, you spin it around and you deal damage to that target. That would be awesome. I would love to see that customization really implemented somewhere in this game because I feel like that would open up so many different avenues. All in all, customization of the combat and the changes to combat, anything is going to be welcome at this point, but that seems to be a larger point that a lot of players have marked as something they want to see changed. Another thing that I would love to see, and there were quite a few comments that were talking about it, is base raids and the need for base defenses. Now, I do think that they are trending this way, Keen Games. I do think that they are trending that way. However, I don't know at this point if they have something already set up. However, at this point, I really just wish that there was something that we could do where we could build up walls and almost like towers and parapets and have these defenses built up so that when we have, a fell raid is coming tonight, and it's like, oh, well, I have to go back to my base and defend it and set up a tower or, arm my survivors so that they can fight. Something like that. I know that that's probably a big ask, and I'm sure that that is something that they've thought about down and around the line, but having that in as far as an option, I think would be incredible. And then it's like, if you successfully do it, you can get some cool rewards. Or one thing, and I absolutely agree with this, is the evolving of the NPCs, the survivors for adventures. One thing that I know that I hate is that I have to manually move everything. All of my crafters are there. They're all at my base, but I have to still go back and, make sure that this gets moved over here or that gets moved over to there, and making sure the resources are put where they need to be. I wish that there was a way that we could just be anywhere in the map and be like, okay, this is complete. We get a notification that says, hey, you completed making silver. Then from there, I can instruct Oswald to go, okay, put that into the grinder. Let's make some silver dust. Right from wherever I'm at. It's kind of a pain to have to stop and come back, move everything around, and then go back out and do what you got to. I would love for them to actually earn their keep, truth be told. But on top of that, it would be also really cool is if we could take those survivors and kit them out for being out in the wild as kind of like a traveling companion. Maybe only one. Maybe it's like a new survivor that's a mercenary that can join you and he can complement who you are. So if you're a melee attacker up close and personal, he can act as a healer. If your skills and abilities are oriented around being a healer, he could be a DPS. Like, he could change depending on what you are, and you could set him into different customizations and also get him armor. That would be awesome to have as someone who's joining you out on these adventures. And again, this is just a wish list. I don't know if this is something that they've talked about. Kind of removes the need for having multiplayer. However, there's a lot of times, truth be told, that I play Enshrouded and I just play on my own little server, my own little world, and I just go out and do my thing. So it would be kind of cool to have a character who's there with us. One of the biggest and funniest pain points that I've seen for a lot of players has been the character customization. So many people have complained, why do my people look like dwarves? Why do they look like weird little gnomes? I agree. I don't think we need to go into the crazy customization of having, 15 different races all being able to be played there, or oh, you can play as a Volcra or you could play as Scavenger. We could do something crazy like that. No, just give us customization as far as height, body length, and change those things, little touches. It really doesn't have to be all that much, but I've read quite a few comments that were just like, I can't touch this game because I feel like I'm a gnome or a hobbit leaving the Shire. It's not as fun as they would like. So customization, I can kind of agree with on. And lastly, and I'm pretty sure that this has been talked about at some point from Enshrouded, I think they're waiting for a full 1.0. I don't know if it's been confirmed, and if I'm wrong, please correct me, but a full-on creative mode. A mode where you can just have unlimited resources, you can build anywhere, you could just kind of do your own thing on that one custom map. I think that would be a lot of fun. You'll start to see some really creative builds. You'll see a lot of people doing some really wild things. I'm always a fan of that. Let's let people be creative. Let them have their own designs come to life just in their head so that they don't have to go out and farm a whole bunch of resources. They don't have to farm, 10,000 rocks or stone to build what they need to. They can just simply click and point and let their creative juices go. I agree with that. I haven't seen anything for creative mode. If I'm wrong, please correct me down in the comment section below, but that's kind of where I'm at. If you are playing Enshrouded and you're trying to figure out a way to level a heck of a lot faster than you have already been, click this video here where I cover all the methods that you can do to level up fast without it being a pain. As always, stay caffeinated, folks.